All right, guys, welcome back to the third day of Invest Smarter for this week. We have today, I took a sneak peek at the properties. I think we have 8 properties that we're going to be analyzing. And if you're new to the channel, let me reset this from yesterday. If you're new to the channel, just give you a quick layout on the top. On top of me, it's going to be my live feed from the MLS. That's the first property we're going to look at, by the way. And then on the right-hand side, we have the deal calculator. If you're not familiar with it, and I'm still toying with what to show you guys first, we're gonna have the 1% rule. All right, we're gonna have the DSCR, the debt service coverage ratio. Basically, it's a fancy way of saying, will the rent that this property produces pay the mortgage, right? And the mortgage is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, right? At the bottom here is going to say how long it's going to take you to actually cash flow, depending on the type of financing you're getting. So if you're a first-time investor, you're going to house hack this or whatever, and you're going to live in it, so you're going to FHA it, right? And for example, whatever the property it's at right now, it would cash flow after about a year and 3 quarters. Right? And for 10%, 20% in cash, it would cash flow on day one if you bought it that way. And then these are metrics that are a little bit more nuanced that we could go into, but I only like to look at these, by the way, guys, if the deal makes sense. If the deal starts making sense, if we see like this one where it's a 0.89 on the 1% rule, then we'll dive into the specifics, because sometimes the property might not be a 1% rule, but it might still not be too bad. For example, this one, right? But as you can see here, it's funny, right? If you look at the actual details, I was playing because you guys have heard a lot about this, I'm sure, that people are trying to get away with not paying property taxes in the state of Florida. And so I was trying to see like, dude, like what would happen if I bought a property, right, at $600,000, which right now is probably paying around $12,000 a month in taxes, a year in taxes, and I put it to 0. Right, and the change is big. Look at that, guys. I went from cash flowing after less than 2 years to cash flowing after 11 years. That's a big difference if I'm able to take this away and put it as a 0. But with that being said, guys, let's dive into the actual deals. That's what you're here for. Before we do that, just really quick, let's look at the interest rate. I always like to show you guys this. If you haven't been here before, we look at the 30-year fixed rate mortgage as reported by the Fed, right? The Federal Reserve of St. Louis. We're gonna put 5 years because we want to look at the, over the last 5 years. And you can see that Thursday, March 19th, that's yesterday. Rates were reported at 6.22. They're going up, and that's probably having to do with the whole Iran thing. So hopefully that gets squashed quickly, and we can return to sub-6 numbers and probably maybe even better. So with that being said, so you saw that. I like to show you guys a quick look at my dashboard so we could see the metrics, so we could understand what's going on in the Tri-County area. That's Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade County. So let's click on this, and we're gonna look at the stats. You're gonna see them at the same time that I do, guys. So just hang tight. Okay, and these are the ones that I just look at like right off the top of the bat, because we're only looking at a 7-day time frame, right? What I always just at a glance see is new versus price decrease. And this is very telling. There's more houses having a price decrease than are going live, right? So for every house that goes live, right, another house is having a price decrease and then some, right? So very interesting. It's basically almost a guarantee that any house that hits the market right now, the seller's getting slapped down by the market and being told, no, your house isn't worth that, adjust your price. And we can get into specifics of that, guys. If you have any questions about like how to price your home, you definitely don't want to be chasing the market. Just a quick, just FYI, don't chase the market, get right below the market, get a good offer. If you're really trying to leave, if you could wait it out, try to wait it out, because if interest rates go back down, right, you're going to get more offers. It's just how it works. So with that being said, let's take a look at our first property. All right. First property is going to be in Palm Beach County, $1.888 million. I think they put that 888 for good luck. Let's see if the numbers are with them. Taxes, 17,414 taxes. in taxes. Can you imagine if we could get rid of like the majority of that? That would be nice. Okay, square feet, 3,200, 3,210, right? Rent, 31, and that's the old rent. This is a triplex, guys. This is a triplex. The agent didn't add up the rents, so we're gonna have to look at them for ourselves. Whoops, let's go back. What happened? All right, so these things happen, guys. We're alive. We're alive, so let's just click on it again. No big problem. Okay, we're looking at 6 properties, by the way, guys. So let's put that on the counter here. 6 properties, sweet. Okay, sort by square feet again, from highest to lowest. And again, 1.8888 triplex. Let's look at the details. Well, first, let's look at the pictures, guys. Let's look at the pictures. Looks like a pretty new roof. If those awnings are real, looks nice. Okay, close to the water, location, pretty baller. Probably not the best flood zone. It's right next to this river here. I think I listed a house by here, so that's very familiar. Look at that. I love it. Look at the driveways that it has. Like, tenants are gonna love this. They're gonna pay premium for this. Okay. All right. This is nice, guys. This is nice. I mean, there's a couple things that you could do to increase maybe the rents just a little bit, but the location's killing it. The location's killing it. So I'm not a fan of those cabinets, so you can probably improve on that. Just little fixes here and there. But apart from that, man, this property is nice. Hopefully the numbers play out too, because it would be a shame that they just overpriced this beautiful home. Yeah, so there's 79 pictures. Let's not go through all of those. We could see that it's in a good neighborhood. It's in great condition. Let's see what the rents could go for. Let's get into the guts of this deal here. Okay. All right, they don't tell us what they are, but they tell us it's a 3-2, 1,400 square feet, and then two twos, okay? So guys, if you look at the calculator here, we're gonna go down here, and we have median prices, and these are, this is data that I pulled this very month. So we can see that at 3-2, the median is $2,700 in Broward County. The max is $3,800. So I would say that based on this location, we're gonna be somewhere right in the middle of that. I would say maybe like $3,200 for the 3-2, maybe more, actually more. So I would say for this 3-2, maybe like a 3,400 would be accurate. Let's put 3,300 and be conservative. For the 2-2s, Broward County. So it's 1960 if it's a 2-1, right? The median, the max is a 3,000 for a 2-1, but this is a 2-2. It's nice because everybody has their own bathroom. So I would say maybe like if we set 3,300 for this, the market's probably somewhere around like 2450. So let's put 2450 for each one. And by the way, guys, this is what I do quickly, right? If the numbers just make more sense, then we would get into Facebook Marketplace. We would go into, you guys, if you don't have access to the MLS directly, you go into Zillow, into Realtor.com, and you see what the rents go for in that area for rented apartments, not for apartments for rent, all right? For rented apartments. Or you could ask your real estate agent to send you a list of the rented apartments that are 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and 2-bedroom, 2-bath within a quarter mile. And then, you keep going out if you don't find anything. But we don't need to do any of that because this property absolutely does not pencil out. You're getting about $8,200 a month in rent. For this to be a 1% kind of property, we would need to be getting $18,000. So we would need to get about $10,000 more, which we are not getting. It wouldn't even cover your mortgage. So, right, you would never, if you bought this FHA, right, if you bought this using FHA, you would never achieve positive cash flow in the life of your mortgage. So in 30 years, you would not achieve positive cash flow. And if you use a 20% down payment, you would get positive cash flow after 21 years. So this is not a good property for us, even though it's beautiful. Let's go ahead and discard it. Next property, and let's go this way. It's $437 per square foot. It's in Palm Beach. It's $599,000. Property taxes right now are $5,622, although they would go up if you purchased it at this price. Living area, it's quite small, 1370. So even for a duplex, that's very small. So let's look at the numbers. They don't tell us how much the rents are or the flood zone. Let's look at the pictures real quick, guys. It's one picture. All right, not a lot of time spent here. You know, palm trees are hard to knock down, but still, having that many palm trees surround your house, dude, during a storm, and if they're coconut palms, like, dude, that would suck. Yeah, imagine all the fronds that you got to pick up here. It's just, I look at it and it sounds like a headache. That's just me, guys. But let's see, because if it makes money, then it would still make sense to buy this, because if it makes money, then you could just pay a landscaper to do all this for you. But that being said, it's a 2-2, less than 700 square feet, and a 1-1, less than 700 square feet. Guys, a 2-2, and I don't have Palm Beach here. I'll get Palm Beach for us, right? But it's probably going to be around the same price as Broward County. So a 1-1, $1,600. Let's put that in the calculator. For the 1-1, $1,600. And then for the 2-2, let's put like $2,250. All right, cool. So that means that you are getting $3,800 a month in rent, right? Your taxes are super low according to this. It does not meet the 1% rule. I mean, like at all. Like it's in the red for me. I would not look at this property based on the just 1% rule. It would cover your mortgage, okay? So this would cover your mortgage payment, but not by a whole lot. It starts being like orange when it's a 1.1. And keep in mind, guys, your taxes would probably go up on this property to about anywhere between $11,000 to $12,000, depending if you live in it and you homestead the property. So if you did that, then it doesn't pay your mortgage. And if you actually, use FHA or something like this, where it's not an investment property, we're going to live in it, then you would probably kiss goodbye to this rent, and it would be totally in the red. So this property is also a no for us. We're going to discard it. Next property, it's cheaper by the square foot, but Jesus, it's $1.65 million. Property taxes are at $16,525. Square feet, it's a biggie, 4,143. This might be the biggest one I've seen this year. Okay, but it's a duplex. So man, this must be like a 4-bedroom, 3-bath on each side. Okay, so this property actually, I saw this property come up earlier this year. It's zoned multifamily, okay? But you tell me, guys, does this look like a duplex to you? No, it feels like a home that they cut in half, right? And I mean, yeah, you might say, yeah, that's what a duplex is, Andres. Yeah, no shit, right? But look at the garage stuff. Look what's going on with that garage. Like it's weird. And they want 1.16,000. No, sorry. There's a missing zero there. There we go. All right. And it's a 4-2 and a 3-2. They said that the 3-2, that they are getting $4,000 for it. And the other one is a 4-2. Suppose that one gets $5,000, just for shits and giggles, right? That extra bedroom would, give it an additional cost of $1,000, which I don't think so, but it would give you $9,000 a month in total rent. That would not cover your mortgage. That is less than half of the 1% rule, right? If you bought this using FHA, which you really can't because it's above the price limit, but if you could, you would not see positive cash flow in the property until after 25 years. So who wants to wait around that long, right? So another discard for us, guys. By the way, we're 3 properties down, 3 properties failed. It's just the way it goes. yesterday we were able to find three really decent properties, and actually one that was like really, really nice. A lot of questions, but definitely if you guys want to go back and watch that video, we had one property that showed a lot of potential. All right, this next one is in Miami-Dade County. Let's see. All right, we can't even see the property. It's covered so badly by these trees. Okay, it looks like trash. Okay, how much do they want for it? $550,000. Cool. Taxes, they're paying $6,188 in taxes. Square feet, 1628. You could probably fit two-bedroom, one bath in that comfortably. Okay, but they're saying it's a triplex. Geez, all right. So, what? Maybe like a 2-1 and 2 1-1s. All right. Let's see if I'm right. Let's look at the guts of this deal. Okay, they don't tell us anything. Nice, nice. Triplex currently property will need a full demo in order for new construction. Open to partnering with contractor in new construction. So they're not giving us anything. And the real estate agent didn't even bother to put, like a helicopter, like a drone picture of or not even drone, man, Google Maps picture of it, right? So I would show you guys what it looks like on the map. I just don't have that programmed yet, but I'm looking at it right now just so you guys know. All right, it doesn't look like it's a huge lot, all right? So it would be difficult. I don't know. The price doesn't make sense because on top of that, you would need to build something, guys. So this is a discard for us. Next, so that's another fail for us. Okay, that's another property that failed. All right, let's see. So next property up. Oops. All right, cooperate. There we go. We're back in Miami-Dade County. $689,000. $6,077 or $7 in taxes. Square feet, 2,590. That's nice and big. It's a triplex. Okay, they're telling us that the total rent is $6,800. Guys, we might have found our first 1% property. All right, it's not in the greatest of flood zones. This is a shitty flood zone, AE. So you might pay a little bit more in flood insurance costs. But let's look at the pictures first. Okay. Dude, if they could show us leases that they're currently getting $6,800 for this, then that means you just need to fix this up a little bit, and imagine you could probably get to $7,000. It's got like the old school shaker cabinets. The bathroom, geez Louise, clean the bathroom, dude. Yeah, this is great. This is what I like to see, guys. Hopefully this is not a makeshift triplex. We'll take a look at that and make sure in 1 second. But was somebody getting a haircut? What the? All right, guys. Let's not judge. Let's analyze. All right. So they say that it's a 3-2. Let's read these broker remarks. I like to read this stuff. Exceptional canal front triplex offering both immediate income and long-term flexibility. This well-maintained property features 3 thoughtfully laid out units, a 3-2, a 3-1, and a 1-1, currently generating approximately $6,800 a month in rental income with potential to exceed $7,000 depending on use. Buyer to verify. Ideal for a variety of buyers, whether you're looking to offset your mortgage with rental income, occupy one unit while renting the others, or maximize returns through different rental strategies. Man, this guy is thorough. I like his description. 2 units include washer and dryer hookups. All units are currently on a month-to-month lease. That's not great. Providing flexibility for future plans. Let me tell you why that's not great, guys. Maybe, yeah, it's great when you're gonna go, but month-to-month leases means that the property might be making $6,800 today, and then you close on it tomorrow, and then the next day your tenants are gone. And now you're at $0 per month, immediate turnover costs, and it would be a pretty big nightmare, just coming off of the purchase. So, it is what it is. Unless you're looking to like completely just like remodel the property and you have everything set up and you're going to be able to knock that out in a week and put them back on the market. But very few people do that. Buyers and buyers agents to verify all details, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, duh. All right. They're saying that it's a 3.2 at $3,000 a month. They're saying there's a 3.1 at $2,600. And they're saying that there's a 1.1 at $1,200. And again, the month-to-month thing, they probably don't even have a contract for it. They're calling it a month-to-month. Maybe they did have a contract for it, the contract lapsed, and now it's technically a month-to-month. But, oops. Is this adding up? Yeah, that's weird. Oh, that's why. Huh. All right, so with that being said, guys, this is a property that, I would go look at. This is the 1% rule stuff that we're looking for, 0.99%, right? Let's look at the full numbers now. I'm excited for this. All right, so yeah, it's a 1%, 0.99, guys. If you do, if you get $900 or like $90 more, right? If instead of $1,300, $1,200, you got $1,300, we'd be at 1%. So it is what it is. You would cash flow on day one if you bought this using FHA. Nice. You would cash flow if you bought it at 10%, 20%. Of course, you bought it cash, you would cash flow. All right. The amount of time it would take you to get your money back, meaning that if you bought this using FHA, right, and you put $24,000 down, as you can see right here, $24,000 down is what it would take for you to buy this property using FHA. You would get that $24,000 back in 5 years. Right? So you would be cash flowing, and after 5 years, it would pay you your basically your 24 grand back. If you bought this cash, if you put $689,000 down and you bought this cash, you'd have your money back in 11 years. That's pretty fantastic. It's basically what the S&P gives you, right? But with the difference is that you have a property where inflation actually helps you. So you might do a lot better, right? And if the government keeps printing money the way that we know the government likes to print money, then inflation is almost guaranteed. And your investment's gonna do a whole lot better, all right? Look at this, guys. Your cash on cash return, and this is how hard your money works. If you bought this cash after 30 years, the cumulative, or just in year 30, your cash on cash is still working at 19%. It's working at 19%, right? Cash on cash that year. If you bought this FHA, the numbers are just ridiculous, right? The amount of leverage, the power that leverage gives you, because that $24,000 that you invested in year 30, you would get 522% of that back that year. That's nuts. That's nuts, guys. All right, the amount of time for you to actually double your investment. There's a difference, guys, in getting your cash back and doubling your investment, right? Like imagine you invest in the S&P 500 and you put, $1. After how much time would you have $2, right, into stock, right? That's separate from like taking the money out. And that's where property is different. Property pays you every single month, where a stock, you could technically log in and be like, oh, I'm worth like whatever amount of money. But if you can't go and buy groceries, telling them that you have that stock in the bank. You might be able to get credit for it or credit based upon that, but totally different story. You would get your money back doubled, your investment doubled, right? So if we look at it as stocks, you would get your investment doubled in 2 years in this property if you finance, if you use FHA. And if you buy cash, your initial investment will double in 9 years, guys. 9 years. Check this other stuff out. I love this. I love to see this. When you use leverage, if you're a first-time home buyer, if you are a first-time multifamily aspiring property investor, guys, it just takes $24,000, 24 grand that you got to save up. It might take you a couple of years like it did me, okay? But you save your money, and the multiple that you would get on that, the return on investment for that is at the end of the 30 years, right? While you're still paying the loan off, you're gonna get 86 times your money back. There's no other product that's gonna give you 86 times your money back in 30 years. And so here you can see, guys, just the amount of wealth that's created over time, right? And the cash flow, like per year, by the way, not over time. This is per year, how much wealth is created, and then this is going to be your annual cash flow. And just so you guys can see right here, just a quick little, right? So this is cash, the green line. Orange is 20%. Blue is 10% down payment. And then this red pink one down here, that's FHA. And you might ask, what's this little like, like the 10%, it kind of jumps up. Well, 10%, once you have equity, more than 20, when you put a 10% down payment on a home, right? You will pay this thing called PMI, right? Which is private mortgage insurance. And you will pay that, right? If you buy FHA, you will pay that for the life of your loan. If you buy using 10% down payment, you will only pay that until you acquire 20% equity in the home, okay? And so based on my calculations, just assuming about 3% inflation every year, and all the other assumptions, which you guys can check out in the comments, in the show notes, you would finish paying that off around like year 3, 4, and then you're, obviously, since you don't pay that PMI every single month, every year, your cash flow would increase. All right, guys, so this property is our first 1% property while we were doing this, so go check this property out. It looks like a fantastic property. And yeah, let's go on to the next one. Last property of the day. All right, so we're still in Miami-Dade. Lower price point, guys. All right, this is a price point in Miami-Dade. Hopefully this house is not like destroyed, right? $5,046. It's huge. All right. 4,492 square feet, and they say it's a duplex. They don't tell us the rent, but let's look at the pictures. Oh man, clickbait. All right, this is the developer wanting to sell us on his dream. So this is an immediate discard, guys. That's another fail, but we did get that one win, that 1% property. Dude, guys, if you're watching this, go look at this property. Call your real estate agent. Dive into the rents. Look at, go to Facebook Marketplace. Make sure that the rents actually pan out, that they're telling us the truth. Call the real estate agent. Ask him for the leases if he has them. Ask him for the rent roll. The rent roll is basically like their bank account proving that they've been getting this rent. Go out and look at the property. Talk to the tenants. You could talk to the tenants. It doesn't matter if the owner is there, right? Talk to the tenants. I always talk to the tenants. I let the owner kind of walk away, and then like I tell them like, hey, how much do you pay rent? Hey, are there any leaks? Hey, da, 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 da. And they'll tell you all their secrets because they think that you're going to be their next landlord. And so they're like, damn, like maybe this guy didn't look out for me, but like I'm going to be friends with this guy. So he treats me good. And maybe he's going to fix the leak in the sink that I've been having for a year and nobody's addressed. So these are the things that you get, right, when you can talk to the tenants. But with that being said, guys, dude, go and get this property. Don't get it, but please do your due diligence on this property. But go find out with your real estate agent if this makes sense. I'm going to go find out, of course, but you guys should too. So with that being said, signing off for today, guys. Have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.